Organisers called this event, held in Sydney on Thursday, a codathon. Teams of computer experts were given mock cyber security challenges.
We've got over 100 participants here in teams internationally and domestically from public and private enterprise, trying to fix 6 terrorism questions we've given them in 32 hours.
Most participants were from Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN countries. Australia has put countering cybercrime and tackling money laundering and what it calls terrorism at the heart of the agenda for the ASEAN Special Summit. Australia itself isn't in ASEAN. As its acronym suggests, its 10 members are all in Southeast Asia. Australia, though, is too far south and east to be a member. But Australia has important trade and security relationships with ASEAN countries and wants to tighten connections with a group it sees as valuable to regional security.
We believe that ASEAN is uniquely placed to continue to promote the international rules-based order within our region, the Indo-Pacific.
ASEAN countries are nothing like as entwined politically or economically as countries in, for example, the European Union. But having a regional group in Asia which excludes China is useful to Australia. Hosting a summit is a sign of Australia's commitment to it.
The benefit, I think, is establishing these relationships so that if there is a crisis, and probably one that will involve China in the future, the Australian government has these relationships and is able to call on them and rely on them.
The summit of ASEAN leaders is being kept low-key, in part because it's controversial. Those attending include Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi, despite her government's treatment of the Rohingya. The military leader of Thailand will be coming too, even though elections there were recently delayed again. So too is Malaysia's Prime Minister, despite many saying he's corrupt. The only ASEAN leader choosing not to come is the Philippines' Rodrigo Duterte. Even Cambodia's Prime Minister Hun Sen is being welcomed by Australia's government, despite his crackdown on opposition figures and human rights activists at home. Hun Sen has threatened to beat up any protesters who burn effigies of him in Sydney.
A horrible dictator. He has no respect to human rights. He doesn't understand democracy. So the way he treated people is through, threat, harassment, bully, to mainly to make people silence.
Cambodians, Rohingya and Vietnamese people living in Australia are all planning to protest. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Sydney.